Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and I'm here to talk about some NBA news. We have a lot of news to get into. As soon as I ended my video yesterday, a trade happened. Sorry if I look tired, I kind of just woke up, so I'm immediately going into this news. But this trade happened after I ended the video last night. Boston Celtics finally got the deal finalized for Kristaps Porzingis, or Tingus, or as people will call him, Tingus Pingus. Yeah, but basically, the Celtics finally got this trade finalized around near midnight after I got my video done. Because I wasn't going to make a separate video. I want to talk about all the news in the same video. But they got the deal done. Sources tell ESPN last night. Per Woj, Porzingis is opting into his $36 million contract for the 2023-24 season as expected, and he's getting his trade to the Celtics. But the trade went through anyways, but the Clippers were not involved, as we reported last night. I feel bad for the Clippers. Clippers get to keep Marcus Morris, but and the Clippers, I don't know why they backed out, just because Brogdon's medicals. I get that, but I would have let Marcus Morris go, to be honest. But anyways, yeah, Washington was in the trade. So instead of the Clippers, Washington completed a three-way deal with Boston, Memphis, that will send guard Tyus Jones to the Wizards. Sources tell ESPN. Tyus is a tough loss for the Grizz, and this is, I think, the reason they traded for Marcus Smart is maybe he could straighten up John Morant, and that they lost Tyus Jones here. That Tyus Jones is the move. They're like, oh, we want Marcus Smart. But they have some really good young guards now. Really good guards, quality guards like DeLon Wright, Tyus Jones, Monte Morris. But this was the shocking part. When I saw this, I see the Celtics are trading Marcus Smart to the Grizzlies as part of the deal. Sources tell ESPN per Woj. I saw a lot of Celtics fans weren't happy about this because he was Boston. He was their heart and soul. Because he was the only one that was really good at playmaking, the only one good at passing and not just shooting it up immediately, creating. But that's a good ass pickup for the Grizzlies, in my opinion. It's crazy. I never thought Celtics would trade Marcus Smart. I think that's a really good pickup for the Grizzlies. Tyus Jones to the Wizards, I think, was a good move. I think Smart to the Grizzlies. Tyus Jones to the Wizards was a good move. Smart to the Grizzlies was a good move. And for the Celtics, getting KP and 2 first-round picks is a good move. I think this is a W for all teams considered here. But obviously the Grizzlies they've been searching for that tough, battle-tested veteran for that young roster for the playoffs, and they landed him in Marcus Smart. That's a huge win for the Grizzlies. No veteran leadership last year, no discipline, and maybe Marcus Smart could solve that. If he doesn't solve that with John Morant, then yeah, they're done. But the Grizzlies sent 2 first-round picks to the Celtics, 2023 and 24. The Grizzlies are sending number 25 on Thursday night, and the 2024 pick for Golden State for Smart. Celtics sent the 35th pick on Thursday to Wizards in the deal as well, sources told ESPN. And the Wizards also got Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala in the deal too. Yeah, the Wizards GM should just be flipping burgers at McDonald's. They're gonna be like 0-82 next season. A 3-time All-Star forward, Chris Middleton, has declined his $40 million player option with the Milwaukee Bucks. This also happened after I ended the video last night. To become a free agent. His agents Mike Lindman and Jeff Schwartz of Excel Basketball tell ESPN. That's kind of expected. I feel like he's going to sign a team-friendly deal. He's going to have a team-friendly deal so they can bring back maybe Brook Lopez. A decline of $40 million is wild. And he's 31. I think it's a very smart move by him, but he has a history of injuries. And 4 years, $110 million guarantees and if infinitely better than 40 and zero production going to that contract at age 32. But a return to the Bucks and a no deal remains a possibility per Woj. But so much news dropped last night. So, Los Angeles Lakers are acquiring the 40th pick from the Pacers for number 47 and cash. So that's nothing. The Lakers now have 2 picks tonight, 17 and 40. But there is some second round value though, so this isn't a useless trade. There's some good value at number 40. I feel this is a great move to get another good quality young player late in the draft. See if we find some stuff here from Shams. Or nah, we're still going to NBA Central. So, Mark Cuban talked about on Kyrie Irving on 91.7 The Freak. Quote, "We want to sign him back, and hopefully he wants to come back. I'm not going to a handicap anymore. I learned my lesson last year." End quote. Mark Cuban talked about a Kyrie Irving, that they want to sign him back. The Mavs roster have displayed some of the poorest roster management we've seen in some time. I wonder how long Luka gives them if they can't turn it around. It's just absolutely hideous roster management. Now let's see if the player wants to sign back. Now I know he wants probably to keep Kyrie, but does Kyrie want to stay with them? Who knows? The Knicks and other teams are hesitant to acquire Paul George due to a history of injuries and contract status, per Andrew Grieve. George is eligible for a $220 million contract extension over the next 4 years. After some internal discussions, the Knicks have become hesitant about acquiring George. The Knicks also think his representatives will ask for a contract extension. He's due to earn $45.6 million next season and $48.8 million the following season if he exercises his options. End quote. Well, it must be good to thankfully to have a competent front office, because I would be hesitant to acquire Paul George too, because he has a history of injuries and that contract. I just don't know if I give him a supermax, because he just has so many injuries. I know he's a good player. I think he's a good player, in my personal opinion, but just the injury history. It's just sad at his peak, because he's a great player. You never trust him to stay fully healthy. Just like Kawhi Leonard, he's a great player, but you can never trust him to stay fully healthy. Per report, LeBron James and Joel Embiid are teaming up to launch a new media company. That's an unusual combination. Not much to say there, just want to mention that real quick. The Knicks and Obi Toppin could work together to find a trade partner if he doesn't have a role in the team next season, per Ian Begley. Quote, "My understanding of the Toppin situation is this. If the Knicks create an opportunity for Toppin to play more and regularly, there would be no reason to trade him. But if the Knicks can't find a way to create more minutes for Toppin, the player and the team will work together to try and find a new home for Toppin." End quote. So, people say, nobody's going to want Obi Toppin. There's going to be teams out there that would want Obi Toppin. His trade value, I think, should be decent, because he's a pretty underrated player in his role for the Knicks. They just didn't give him enough consistent playing time. I think that he could excel if he had playing time. I really do. He deserves to have a larger role, but he was never given like a big chance. People just sleep on him. And he's hell talented. He just doesn't have a big role from the Knicks. So Marcus Smart, he was apparently shocked by the Boston trading him. He wasn't expecting to get traded. Quote, "Marcus, he loved Boston. He thought he was going to retire there. He wanted to retire there." Per Adam Himmel's back. Or how do you say his name? But I feel like they did him dirty. I don't think anyone thought this was going to happen. I really bet he was. Because ultimately it's a business and they felt they could upgrade at the position. But, I don't know. Boston fans were definitely shocked too. And I think everyone was shocked. There's no loyalty in this business. He was the heart of that team. We'll just have to see how they are now next season defensively and their playmaking, because he's really their only playmaker, like I mentioned. Evan Fournier's camp and the Knicks are working toward finding a trade. Yeah, nobody's gonna want Evan Fournier. How's this guy earning like $18 million per season? Nobody's taking that contract he has. Nobody's taking that. Like $18 million. Via Pat McAfee show, Shams Charania said, quote, Amen Thompson had a very strong workout in Portland and he made an impression on them, end quote. No way he's going to rob the third pick. There's no way. What a name. But the Trailblazers have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. I don't see how you draft him third. Jeremy Grant can seek a 5-year, $150 million contract from Portland, per Mike Scotto. Quote, Jeremy Grant is expected to command $30+ million annually in free agency, according to several NBA executives who spoke to Hoops Hype. Multiple teams with cap space are expected to have interest in Grant, including the Detroit Pistons most notably, and can make a run at Grant. One of the top free agents on the market, multiple executives around the league believe Grant could command a 5-year, $150 million contract from Portland to remain long-term, end quote. If you give Jeremy Grant that, I feel like he don't deserve to win. Like, he has good stats, but I just don't think he's worth it. Like, he's not a winning player. I just don't think he's a number one option on, like, a winning team. But players are getting overpaid. I think he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think he's worth 5 years, $150 million. I think that's just crazy. So we have some news here via Jake L. Fisher. Trey Kennett's on the Hawks. Some players that have been listed: John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, DeJounte Murray, and Clint Capella. Quote, the Hawks continue to be described as one of the most active teams in trade dialogue around the NBA. Hunter, John Collins, and all-star guard DeJounte Murray, in addition to starting center Clint Capella, continue to be mentioned by team personnel as viable trade candidates, with Hunter appearing to be involved in most of the Hawks' possibilities entering the draft night, end quote. Surprised he's on the trade block. It's DeAndre Hunter. Would love. I mean, you feel like you'd love to work out a trade for him and Capella, but they've been trying to trade Collins and Capella for feels like 7 seasons. I don't think the Hawks are going to make any trades. I really don't. The Grizzlies have targeted Franz Wagner in recent months, per Jake L. Fisher. Yeah, Franz is probably the best player from that draft class that year. That's never happening. They're not trading their best young player. The Knicks and Clippers have discussed a Paul George trade, per Ian Begley. I felt this is a perfect fit for the Knicks if they stay healthy. Big if. But if he stays healthy, this will be an amazing acquisition. He gets after it defensively, can really shoot, and that's actually a good fit. Report the Cavs have had a lot of talks with the Blazers, and they are interested in Nazir Little. I mean, it could be a decent trade. Damian Lillard does not want to play in the youth movement, per Windhorse. Team been preparing to send trade offers to Portland for Lillard tonight. I have nothing to say because he's probably just going to stay in Portland. Brogdon has a health issue that I understand is so significant that not only can the Celtics not do this trade, there's probably no Malcolm Brogdon trade that they can do in the short term. End quote from Windhorst. And they're really stuck with Malcolm Brogdon and his health. Pick one player that you don't think is on the same team 3 days from now, and Brian Windhorst said, if the Warriors don't trade that number 3 pick, we're headed for something there. This offseason is so annoying, like this reporting. The Celtics are far from done for making moves, per Brian T. Robb. Yeah, I've kind of figured so. Victor Wembanyama says Westbrook was his favorite player growing up. Scoot Henderson said that as well, and Cam Whitmore also said that as well. Prime Russell was a beast. How can you not like Prime Russell Westbrook? To talk about Scoot Henderson is gaining serious momentum at number 2 of the Charlotte Hornets in tonight's NBA draft. They've been torn over the last week between Henderson and Brandon Miller. Team has final meetings today to settle on the decision. And I've been saying this, I think they should take Scoot Henderson, and I really think they'll take Scoot Henderson here with the number 2 pick. But yeah, they were really torn until Miller said Paul George was the GOAT. But yeah, that's all I'll say for this video, and a mock draft coming about probably a little bit. Probably that video will probably come out a little bit, so until next time, Peace.